right, Shalom, Shalom. This is the brother Mayum coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachahak Wadash. Double honors to the elders apostles of Great Millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. Just want to do a quick video, just kind of going into this whole situation that took place over the weekend. And as most brothers, have seen already, you had this one Jake, that goes out to teach, which I believe he was a part of the GMS Canada camp. I'm not exactly sure which camp he was a part of, whether it was Toronto, Winnipeg, or one of those major camps up there. All right, but as you seen in the video, you had this one dude that looks like an Edomite, whether he was an Edomite or not. His tendencies and the things that he was doing and saying, sure as hell, gave off, the spirit of an Edomite, and these are the times that we living in. All right, for those of you brothers that are out there, on the highways and hedges, man, this is something that, the scriptures have already talked to us about. The apostles and the elders have talked to, brothers about these very things happening, and it's for brothers that have been out teaching for a while, we've seen these particular things take place. All right, we've seen, certain people try to come up and cause harm, cause a fight to break out, weapons that have been pulled on brothers, and we're coming into a time where those of you that believe on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, you're going to be put out there in the forefront. And it's things like this because as we've seen, this is something that's, was going on live. Okay. And Esau didn't take this, the clip down. As far as I know, Esau hasn't taken the video down or anything like that. But it's being left up. All right. And this is pushing out that particular spirit to a lot of these disgruntled people of the earth, specifically out here in the West, where you have a lot of the citizens of these countries, all right, that are fed up with what's happening. And here it is, the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all right, whether this brother is a prophet or not, who knows, but the men of the Lord that are out here teaching, we're condemning this place as the prophets of old did, in times past. It talks about that in Jeremiah 8:28 or 28:8. It talks about the prophets of old, speaking up against particular nations. And here it is. You have these same men back here today, all right, prophesying of the downfall of these societies that are, currently in power. And the disgruntled citizens of these said countries hear you talking about how the little bit of things that they have left that these people are holding on to, that is getting ready to crumble, that is getting ready to fall out from underneath them. And these people are frustrated, man. And you're going to see a lot more of this take place where you have these people coming up against you prophets. All right, you brothers out there. All right. People are going to become more bold and bolder, okay, as they continue to lose their damn minds. All right, this is real quick, Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Right, and this is what we've been going on for the longest now, is telling you about the evil to come. And we're seeing the beginnings of that evil increasing upon the earth, man. All right. People are suffering. People are in fear. All right. For their own well-being. All right. People are afraid of their day-to-day goings, man. Of how am I going to make it past this month? You have, right now you have this shutdown still going. And people not sure whether they're going to be paid, but they still have, they're essential workers. So they still have to show up. So they still have to work to not receive a paycheck. You see? And this is the times that we're in, man. The frustration of these people, and the scriptures talking about this in Luke chapter 21. All right, the perplexity of nations. All right, let's get that real quick. All right, but a lot of people are walking around right now confused as to the state of their country. Okay, the state of their own lives. All right. This is Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity in the sea and the waves roaring, man. So distress of nations is exactly what we see. All right. The citizens of this country are completely distressed. And let's go ahead and get into that word, distress, and let's see what it says. All right, real quick. Luke chapter 21, verse 25. Let's get the word there for distress. All right, and it says Sunoke, and it says a holding together, a narrowing, the contracting part of a way, metaphor, straits, distress, anguish. So difficult. This is the difficult times that the scripture says would take place, man. All right. Restraint, anguish, anxiety, and people's anxiety is at an all-time high. Okay. People are upset. People are frustrated. So when they hear the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai speaking of more evil to come and more things falling apart, what do you think these people's attitudes are going to be towards the men of the Lord? Well, it's going to be that of disdain, okay, that of hatred, and they're going to want to get in your face. They're going to want to get you to leave, and you got to through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we got to listen to the Spirit, okay, because the scripture says what? Agree with that adversary quickly. Matter of fact, let's get that precept because there's more to that verse. Okay. Agree. All right. Matthew chapter 5, verse 25. It says, agree with that adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. You see? Because ultimately that's what ends up happening the majority of the time. Now this brother here got lucky, the Spirit, and that's I'm not speaking on a sense of, oh, be afraid that you may get cast into jail. You don't want to get arrested, so on and so forth. But, the scriptures call us to be wise as serpents, okay, harmless as a dove. We got to use wisdom in these situations that these people try to put you in, man. Now, this brother was out in a park where there was really not many people, but there was a couple people that walked by when you look at that video that were looking at the dude with the gun, and they seen the guy had the gun out. And did they do anything? No. They kept on about their business, but that was the Spirit, man. The Spirit let that brother, get down on that dude, and didn't really have anyone intervene or anything like that. But it might not be that case in all situations. It might be situations where these people try to, do the exact same thing that this dude has, and you end up beating his ass, and people call the police on you, and now you're locked up. We got to use wisdom in these situations. Now, a dude pulls out a gun like this dude did. I'm not saying not to defend yourself, because, hey, all it's going to take is for one brother to grab hold of that wrist, and it's over for these people. Okay? As I said, that's all it's going to take. But at the same time, you gotta know how to de-escalate certain situations, man. As the scripture here said, Matthew chapter 5 and 25, agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison, man. Now, these people that come up, let them run their mouths, and as the apostles have told us, time and time again, go ahead and close out and move somewhere else. Use wisdom. But if the situations get out of hand, like this dude got out of pocket with the brother, and the brother had to defend himself. Now, did the brother go off? No. The brother defended himself, man. Dude pulled out a weapon on him. Okay, so the brother was in his right. Okay. And the brother was trying to talk calmly to the dude. The brother was doing everything that he could. He was doing everything. He did everything right. He talked to the dude calmly. He wasn't getting irate with the dude. He wasn't trying to match the dude's energy. And the dude was still escalating the situation. Now, in that particular matter, there ain't nothing the brother could have done. Okay, but in other matters, in most cases, okay, there's a way to handle the situations to keep things from escalating, man. Okay? And again, we're getting to that time where a lot of these situations, we're not going to be able to control because these people are at their last wits. They're at their wits' end, man. And they're going to continue to bug the hell out. And the scriptures talk about that insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, and that's coming. Okay, we understand that, and I speak as a man when I say it, but the elect, man, we're going to be good. The Lord is going to take care of us in these times to come, but there's still going to come a lot of pushback on what we're teaching, and that's going to come and coincide with the famine of the word, because when shit's going to be so real out here, man, that it ain't going to be no reason for brothers to be out there teaching anymore. It's going to be people dying left and right, people killing each other, and people fighting so damn much, and we already see that happening. It ain't even as at its peak yet, man. This is just the beginning of things, and this is why we keep saying this is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. What we're witnessing happening on the earth right now is, especially here in America and in the Western nations, what we're experiencing is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. Whether you want to accept it or not, this is the time that the scriptures spoke about. Okay, in Jeremiah chapter 30, Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, who the world literally calls Jesus Christ, the times that he spoke of, that should be like no other. Okay, where the love of many shall wax cold. This is what we see happening. Okay. But as it talks about in Jeremiah 30 and 7, as Yahweh Shai himself said, that for the elect's sake the days shall be shortened. Okay, we are going to be delivered out of these times, man. We're going to be saved out of these troublesome times, these evils, because we're going to be kept in the secret place of the Most High, while the rest of the world is going to have to suffer the evil times that they've brought upon themselves. Scriptures talk about that wickedness has come into the earth because of the devices of men. Roughly paraphrasing that scripture in 2nd Ezra. Okay. So just wanted to, bring that out real quick, because, this just happened, but expect more of these things to continue, man. And brothers that are out here on the highways and byways, man, just use wisdom in these situations, man. If it comes down to where you have to defend yourself, then defend yourself. All right. And just make sure that situation gets handled. All right. But if there's an opportunity to de-escalate the situation, then de-escalate the situation and move spots. Go somewhere else. Especially in the midst of these protests that we see happening, man. Hey, it'll be wise to just move to another area, man, that is more secluded. Okay? But hey, Lord's with us is edifying. I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachah HaKwadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. Much blessing and salutations to the Akimar on the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and its truth and sincerity. With that, I say Shalom.